Hello, and welcome to a revised version of Life Clarifications with Natasha. So, I'm human, and I was live yesterday and was talking about the Chinese New Year's. So, I wanted to add a little revised version of this dance. Okay, so yesterday I talked about how this is the Chinese year, New Year's of the rabbit, right? And I talked about how the rabbit is bouncing forward. It's about how we needed to set up boundaries, we needed to set up things. And I'm a psychic medium, and I'm very human. So I made a flubble yesterday. So I wanted to kind of come on and clarify something because of the fact that no matter who we are, we're all human, right? Well, Mercury is just coming out of retrograde. So I had a retrograde moment yesterday. So I had this wonderful gift of a conversation with someone about their zodiac signs. And I am a horse. My sign is the year of the horse. So with that being the year of the horse, I gallop through and I like community. I like doing work. I like doing those kinds of things. But, last yesterday, I talked about how the year before, the 2022 year, was the year of the ox. That's where I made my flubble. That's where I made my mistake. Because of the fact that, the year that we kind of came down with COVID was the ox, about getting through what we needed to do, getting through that knowing, right? Well, I wanted to revise how I saw last year because actually it makes more sense now that it's one of those things. So, hi on Instagram, hi on Twitter, hi on Facebook, and hi on hello on not hi, but hello on my YouTube channel here. Natasha Venter, that it's amazing how when we're in the caught up in the moment, that even me googling it came up ox, right? That's a Mercury in retrograde moment. So I trusted that because it felt like the year was yesterday. Last year was the ox, getting through what we needed to get through, driving through, getting through, right? Well, no, it was the year of the tiger. Oh my gosh, why didn't I remember the year of the tiger? Because the year of the tiger was about pouncing, getting through. The year of the tiger, it's that cat. It's how do we get through the brush? How do we get through to get to our prey that we want, right? The prey of the mouse, or if you're a tiger, it's bigger prey, right? It's the elk, it's the deer, it's the bigger things, right? And so with that when we're working through this last year, and I'm jumping in, if you didn't watch my show yesterday, please go back and watch it because this conversation will make more sense if you're just jumping in, because this is going to be just a quick little insight here that I wanted to add on because the fact that when we're talking about the Chinese New Year, it really gives a lot of fluff and duff about it, right? That we can negotiate things, but it's like if we believe in a little bit of astrology, if we believe a little bit in the Chinese New Year, if we believe a little bit in spirituality, if we believe a little bit in, like me with feng shui, energy is energy, and if we can work with it, it's better, right? Being that last year was the year of the tiger, and my friend that I was talking to was saying that being the tiger, I was said, you need to start using your instincts, the whiskers, the cat whiskers, use your instincts. And that's what I use. I call them that when I'm using my intuition, is my cat whiskers, right? And so with that going out there and doing your work and doing how where you're at, that trusting those instincts. Well, the year of the rabbit, the Chinese year of the rabbit, it's about, using our instincts like last year was. We really started finding out who we were. We really, last year was the year of the tiger, going through and figuring out how to get through the brush, how to get through the jungle, because the tiger is in the jungle, right? How do we get through the jungle of life? How do we get through those negotiations of our stories, right? And those things that are going to be happening in the year of the tiger was is that I know for me, I did a lot of personal inner work. I did a lot of that personal knowing of how do I want to make my next step, as tigers are very keen on which platform they're going to step into, right? They leap, but they know where they're going to leap, and they know where their steps are, and their steps are very methodical, right? Well, I noticed for me personally that last year was very methodical thoughts on how I was going to negotiate and move forward, right? And how I was going to be able to negotiate myself in those dances. I really cleaned out like how I was going to work with my finances, how I was going to work with my personal boundaries, how I was going to work out with those a lot of things. And I know that going forward, it's not an easy step, right? But now that we're going into the rabbit year, a lot of that getting through the brush and getting through the application of who we were, you know, coming out from COVID, we had to learn that coming out and being a little more vulnerable was a good thing, right? That we had to learn how to negotiate being with people again. Well, tigers are very solitary animals, except for when they're going to be with their partners, and create young, right? So how could we get more out and be not so like in our own shell in a way? Well, the rabbit is about that. A rabbit is a very social animal. They like to be out in groups. If you see a rabbit, they like to be in groups, right? So how can we get more social this year, knowing that a rabbit, like I said yesterday, was a or being preyed upon, right? And so trusting our instincts this year will be very good. And I can tell you, if you watched my show on elementals on my YouTube channel, that this is the year that our elements are going to be coming out, the elements of ourselves. So if we're out of balance of water with our bodies, we're going to notice that we're dehydrated, right? Or if we're running really hot, that means we have too much fire in us. If we're running really heavy, that or our digestive system is out of whack in a way, we're talking about too much earth in our bodies. So with that how can we negotiate these stories? So me being a psychic medium, me being who I am, I really want you to know that this year of the rabbit is going to be amazing. But last year, because I said it was the ox, is actually the tiger. And it makes more sense because, the year of COVID, we had to drudge through the mud. We had to put our feet on the ground and get through life. And this last year was about being persevering and jumping when we needed to jump, and getting out into doing a new job if we felt the call to do a new job, and doing those kinds of things. And so it was a neat year to be able to figure out ourselves. Now this year is the year of the rabbit. So how can we, whatever we were thinking about, walking towards, negotiating, what can we do to create new in our life this year, right? Like I was saying yesterday, that the rabbits, if you look at a rabbit, likes to get into a very um wonderful looking garden, right? And fertilized garden, really, inspired garden. They love that, and they always go for the goods, right? So how can we create boundaries around our goods? How can we create a better boundaries around ourselves so that our goods are not taken away, right? How can we know what is a better place to be? What is a better instinct for us to know to do? And that's the year of the rabbit here, is that how can we take and know where to go by using our instincts, by using our knowings, by trusting our inner knowing, we can create a better balance this year. So, with that, I just want you to know that no matter where you're at and where you're going, what is happening, remember what I talked about yesterday was the feng shui, the energy of the feng shui. Feng shui in your house. It's a good thing to do, to really look at how is the energy of your place. Because I know for the rabbit, their home, their burrow is very important to them. They want to have a safe place to go to. So make sure that your home this year is safe. So if you're feeling stuck in an area of your life, look at feng shui. What corner is that representation? If you're having stuckness in a relationship, how can you work towards your relationship? How can you clean up that corner of your room, right? in your relationship corner? If you're feeling financially stuck, what is your prosperity corner looking like? Do you have a bunch of laundry that needs to be done all the time? Or are you feeling like that you have a dead plant sitting there or something like that? So look at how the energy around your life is supporting you in doing this dance, because the fact that we never know what's going to happen, right? We never know what's going to happen. But this is the year. Remember how rabbits, this was something that I really look at sometimes, is how can a rabbit outmaneuver a hawk by leaping, by knowing, by twisting, by maneuvering, by just being magical in how they maneuver their bodies. So this year is going to be a year, how can you maneuver to have things work with you, right? So I want to apologize. I made a flubble yesterday that the year of 2022 was the year of the ox. No, it was the year of the tiger. And I wanted to make that right because I have high integrity and I do not like to give misunderstood information. So with that I have something coming up in about 10-15 minutes that I need to get prepared for. So I want to come on quickly here and say that if you need any help with feng shui or you would like a private session, please go to my website, Natasha Venter, angeliclarifications.com, to support your new knowing of this year. Because this year can be a magical year if we're willing to do some of that shadow work, that work towards our inner things that we don't want to do, those triggers that we have, those self sabotages. If we can work through those, we can have actually a magical year coming up. Blessings to you on this journey, and know that no matter where you're at, the year of the tiger was about making those steps. This year is about what can we do to get to that fruit of the wonderful garden. Leave you with that thought. I'm Natasha Venter at angeliclarifications.com. And please follow or like if you like these shows. I am usually live Mondays and Wednesdays at 4 o'clock Pacific time. Wednesdays, I'm usually on Instagram if I don't have a guest. Blessings to you. Bye now.